know, Pat ended up putting sort of an extra bass part on top of his original, and Mark played keyboards and accordion on this as well. So there's probably about 7 or 8 different parts going on in this song, which is nice. But yeah, this is our instrumental track. Right, the next track is a personal track for me. It's called Muriel, which is named my wife, so it's about her really. I've kind of been inspired, I suppose, and when I listen to it now, I think it does kind of bear a bit of resemblance to a track that one of my friends had previously written about their partner, their wife. So yeah. But I quite like the lyrics on here, and again, the guys are really up for playing this. Probably quite nice. Hervé playing on a track that's written about his sister. Because Hervé's my brother-in-law, just in case I haven't mentioned that earlier. And yeah, again, good sort of backing vocals on here, and it's quite a nice bouncy track. So yeah, I like this. Kind of short and sweet. Yeah. Okay, so I think we're up to track 7, which is Day to Day, which again is probably one of the first tracks I wrote for the album. And when I sort of got back into playing live, this is one of my sort of go-to songs. And it seemed to kind of get a good reaction, so it was one I felt that really deserved to be on the album. Yeah, and I do still play it now, and it's sort of a song that's kind of a bit sort of whimsical in a way, but it kind of harks back to a time in previous years when, you know, I didn't have so many responsibilities and you could just take life as it comes. So it's quite sometimes you might yearn for those times when things kind of get on top of you a bit, but this one again was one of the original 4 tracks that I worked on Hervé in terms of his drums on there. And again, the guys did really nice parts on this, and we experimented a bit with the sounds in the middle of the song as well. Pat brought in some really interesting sort of production techniques onto this track, so yeah, I like this track. So the next track, I guess I quite like having a track that's quite funny and just a bit out there, and this song is called Contender, and sometimes I've kind of thought about doing like some sort of like a concept album in a way, where almost like I could invent this life that I've had through the different famous ages of music, and almost like have reference points for all those. But this one is quite an arrogant track in a way, just sort of saying what could have been, you know, in my fantasy world. So and again, the guys are really up for messing about with this one. This is when we did the drums in Croydon again with Hervé. Mark had a really cool 80s sound on the keyboards, really sort of chunky bass from Pat, and the backing vocals are really strong. And actually, one of my colleagues that I was working with at the time, and kind of became a friend of mine, who's quite into music as well. He was quite interested in hearing the album tracks as we were coming together, and he ended up doing like a mix of this, which is amazing really. He just kind of took all the parts and done something quite different with it. So we did like a bit of an EP of this track, and we included some different mixes of the songs, which is quite interesting. So yeah, this is good fun. So right, let me get back to where I was. Right, okay, next track. Right, this next track is Scattered, which is up to track 10 now. This was the last song actually that I wrote for the album. I just kind of wrote it just at the point that we were starting to work on the songs in 2007, and it was just around the time, just after the time that my granny died. and I've been to the funeral in Ireland, and all like my cousins and uncles and aunties were there, and first time I've seen them in a long time, and I guess it's inspired by that sort of coming together and kind of remembering times when we used to spend a lot of summers in Ireland, and we used to really became more like friends with your cousins, and used to spend hours kind of messing about and playing with each other on at my granny's place in the fields and stuff like that. So but linking it to the event really that brought us back together, which is the funeral. So yeah, it's scattered, and it's quite important for me to have something that represented that sort of come together. And so I managed to get more of my family, my immediate family, to do a bit of a prayer, recording and doing a bit of a prayer to kind of for the intro. So that's scattered. Okay, and then we're getting towards the end. Track 11 naturally is quite a upbeat sort of country sort of song. It's even one I had a go at putting a bit of mandolin on my broken kind of mandolin, which I had kind of tuned in a way that I could use it and get some sounds out of. And this features